How you doing, guys? This is Eric from RuleTheWasteland.com, secretoftheinternet.com. Today I'm talking about the Clipdraw concealed carry clip, in this instance on the Ruger LCP. So once installed, you can see how the Clipdraw, and obviously this was not very hard to do. All I used was that little screwdriver like this. And I can show you the footage on that, or maybe I'll put it before this clip, I'm not sure. But yeah, it runs right along there. And this is designed to slip onto either a pocket or a waistband or something like that and carry the gun basically without a holster, without any sort of inside the waistband holster and things like that. I had a sort of similar type of clip on my Beretta Tomcat, but the clip was right here. This portion was right there, which was not good for a few reasons. So I've had this on here for a few weeks now. Been carrying it fairly regularly like that, and as you can see, that's what it looks like. I like that it doesn't get in the way. Your finger doesn't even touch it. If you want to, let me unload this thing. If you want to rack the slide, then it doesn't even get in the way of that either. So that's good. And I even have, this was my primary method of carrying before I got the Clipdraw, as you can see the case for here, and it's fairly cheap. I think it's like 20 bucks. But one of the concerns that I have is I'm not always going to want to carry this way, and I don't want this to get in the way of my primary carrying method, because then I would have to like switch it off or something like that, and it just wouldn't work out. But it fits almost just as well in there. Obviously, it's probably going to put a little more wear and tear on this Galco ankle light, which I have a review on. I'll put the link in the description for this. Probably put a little more wear and tear on that, but not a big deal. Doesn't seem to be harming it too much, and it's just as easy to use the ankle holster with the Clipdraw on it as it is without the Clipdraw on it. So far I have liked this. I've liked it so far. It's been working really well. I'll show you me wearing it in a second so you guys can see what it looks like, but it's fairly easy to get into position and everything like that, and it allows you to carry, and this is the most important thing, without having to change in what you're really wearing. I can wear it with the t-shirt and jeans. Obviously a gun like this is small enough that most of the time you can make that happen, but even with a regular inside the waistband holster, it would create enough of a lump that you could see it. With my frame and the type of clothing that I wear and stuff, it just still wasn't working. So that's why I wanted to give this a shot. So I've been liking it so far. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like with me putting it on and off and wearing it. So wearing a normal t-shirt and jeans type getup like this, and you can see that I don't have incredibly wide shoulders. So my t-shirts tend to already be laying around my waistline because I'm not big enough to where they're hanging out away from it. So that means that anything on my waistline is usually fairly visible. And that was a problem with these other inside the waistband holsters, which is why I wanted to give the Clipdraw a shot, because I figured it could bypass that type of problem. So if I would normally be wearing a belt. You don't need a belt, and it's actually a little bit harder to get it on with the belt. So if you do have a belt, you have to, and it's already on, you could always put it on before the belt. I pull the belt away a little bit like that, and I wear this kind of like an appendix carry, or I mean, smaller back, sort of, not appendix. And I slip it in like that. I try to leave the little bit of the hand. You can put the pants over it too, depending on what you want, but that does make it a little harder to get out. So in deep concealment mode, you can barely see it. I tend to like to keep that poking up a little bit, but as you can see, that's really hard to see, even on someone who doesn't have a big frame such as me, who doesn't have a lot of baggy, loose-fitting room to work with here. I'm not like a lumpy, like some of these big fat guys, no one's gonna notice an extra lump on their waistline, so they can carry like a full-size 1911 and no one's gonna notice. They're just gonna think it's an extra fat roll. Luckily, I don't have that problem, but there you go. So now the only issue that I have had with this is, well, there's one minor thing, but the main drawback, the only real drawback to this is that it's not incredibly easy to draw. So like, to get it out does take a second. Not incredibly long time. Obviously, I think it's still a little faster than drawing from an ankle holster, but the method that I've used is to get my thumb behind it and then put my finger on the bottom of the clip, So like that, and then grab the bottom of the clip there and then just pull it up that way. And then once I move it up a little bit, I just kind of pinch the back and then I'm into the drawing position. And putting it back is not super hard. Like I said, you just make sure you get it behind the belt. And it's a little easier to draw without the belt on too, so keep that in mind. And you could always just grab it like that, but you have to get both sides of it. So pinching it is a little, not that quite, I mean, I was doing that a little slow, but so like that. Now the only real issue that I've had with this is one time I thought I slid it over and the clip actually went behind the pants, so it was just kind of nestled in my waistband, like gangster style, and as I was walking up into the grocery store, it slid down in my pants, so I had to stop, kind of like walk up in the corner and then fiddle with it a little bit, pull it back out and make sure that the actual clip, so that's something that you want to make sure. And you can do it over the belt like that too if you want. I don't think that's necessary. It might hurt your belt and stretch the clip out a little bit. So I tend to do it behind the belt, leave a little bit of that poking up. And you could also just do it like that. You know, there's any way you can grab it. So it's not fast, but it's not slow, and it's infinitely better than not having the gun on you, and still probably better than having it on your ankle. Certainly if you're wearing shorts or something like that and you can't have it on your ankle, then that's an option. So I'm gonna keep this on here. I like it, I'm glad I have it. Gives me that extra ability. I can still use my Galco holster, and so it just adds your capability and doesn't get in the way of using it. I have not shot with this on here yet. I'm gonna go to the range soon. That's the only thing I haven't done yet. But seeing as how it doesn't touch your finger when you're holding it, how it doesn't get in the way of racking the slide, which I have done, I don't see it being an issue. I don't see the recoil pushing it into my finger or something like that. And even if it's minor, this is not a target gun for me. This is a self-defense gun. So something that keeps me allowed, or not allowed, but able to carry this in different situations much more often. If it bites a little bit when I'm shooting, that's not going to be enough of a reason for me to get away from it. I don't think it will, though. I don't see how that would even touch me. This gun isn't super powerful. It's not jumping around all over my hand. You know, I hold it pretty snug. It's not on the slide. If anything, it's barely touching my finger. Usually it's not even touching it at all, so it shouldn't be an issue. So I like it. I recommend it, at least for the Ruger LCP. They have it for other models as well. You can check them out. Clipdraw, I'll put the link in the description, and I'm happy with it. I'm gonna leave it on there, and I will continue to carry it that way. At this point, I would say since I've had the Clipdraw on here, I've carried with it much more often than I've carried with the ankle holster at this point. So that just gives you an idea of how useful it is. So check them out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.